What's going on YouTube, Fesify Media. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel to be entered into our 200k subscriber giveaway. We'll be giving back to you random things. You have to be subscribed to the channel. Today we got a throwback story about the private school boy who stabbed his pal Yusuf to death and was unmasked as a bully and a spoiled teen who carried a knife, listened to drill music and whined about his wealthy family. It's like a double-edged sword because a lot of people that grow up poor and even certain drill rappers that have come from rough communities and environments, they look at people who are rich and are jealous and envious and trying to work towards having that lifestyle. And the other way around, when people are very successful and have kids, their kids have nothing to work for and fall into the syndrome of idolizing gangs and certain things and becoming obsessed with it. The guy we're going to talk about in the story's name is Joshua, and his identity was hidden from the public until he turned 18 years of age, and then it was blasted everywhere over the Sun newspaper and various outlets. So this is Joshua. His dad, 56, is a maths graduate and is a company director and business consultant, while his mother, Stephanie, 51, co-founded a chain of Cheshire nurseries. The pair divorced when he was 13 but gave him a privileged life of independent schools, designer gifts, expensive holidays, nights out and raising him in Cheshire, a nice area. But then would come the switch up in his personality. MOLNAR was eager to create a bad boy image among other private school kids on the local streets. MOLNAR would tell friends that at times he'd run away from home and talked of sleeping in his mother's car. A source close to the family said neither of his parents was aware he had ever run away from home and they don't recall him sleeping in his mother's car. At the age of 15, he began using cannabis, supporting a bandana to keep his weed and shank, also known as a knife, in his Amani bag. Drill, I don't think, was the reason for him switching up and acting erratic, but literally the fact of his parents giving him a lack of attention. It's very common in rich kids that have parents that work hard and get no attention, act out of conduct and misbehave to try and get some of that attention of their parents that are working all the time. He began living what his own lawyer described as a double fantasy life of a juvenile, middle-class gangster playing around with knives and getting into fights. One detective described a second defendant as rich kids who have never had to live in the real world. The elite schools MOLNAR went to often enable students to sour straight to Oxford and Cambridge, but he was not an academic high achiever like his friend Yusuf. Instead, he saw himself as a class clown. He was on the rugby field in school terms where he expressed himself and found vent for his aggressive streak. He started carrying a knife for protection against muggings because the peer pressure made him feel like I should be doing that. He told his trial, if I had a pretty cool knife, I would show it off a bit. Selfie videos shown during the trial filmed him acting out violent scenarios, which his own lawyer would call idiotic fantasies, fueled by the love of drill music tracks which glorified the use of knives. He filmed himself with a machete in the mirror of his bedroom, sniggering as he made violent stabbing motions towards another boy, the point of the blade coming just a few centimeters from his face. February 2019, MOLNAR shot another video where he appeared to make slashing movements across the throat of someone in the distance with a machete before poking the blade into the mattress. Then on March the 2nd, he stabbed somebody for real, his friend Yusuf, through the heart on Goulsbank Road in Leafley Hell Barnes. An act of the jury accepted by their verdicts was self-defense. But MOLNAR was locked up after he admitted possessing a knife which caused Yusuf's fatal wound and perverting the course of justice by lying to police that someone else had inflicted the injury. But what actually happened in that instant where MOLNAR took Yusuf's life? So during the trial, MOLNAR admitted to having a knife on him, and he told the court that following an argument between the boys after a butch attempt to buy drugs, Mackie had pulled out a knife, so he had pulled out a flick knife in return. MOLNAR testified that he did not know how he ended up stabbing his friend. Mackie's family have also maintained that there was no DNA or independent evidence that Yusuf had a knife, but the assertion was accepted by the jury as a part of MOLNAR's self-defense claim. When MOLNAR was cleared of murder and manslaughter in July, there were angry scenes in Manchester Crown Court. Mackie's father collapsed after shouting, "Where's the justice for my son?" Yusuf's sister previously told the Guardian the family were made to feel like criminals during the trial, as they were asked to sit in the public gallery, while the relatives of the defendants, both the middle-class Cheshire families, were given priority seating in the courtroom instead of the victim's family. The case ignited a heated debate about class and race in the criminal justice system. Lucy Powell, MP for Manchester Central, asked in a tweet following the acquittal whether the jury would have arrived at the same conclusion if these defendants were black. At State School and from, say, Moss Side, an inner city Manchester borough, historically home to the city's Caribbean population. When challenged on whether she had sat through all the evidence in the case, Powell said that she was making the wilder point that research showed black poor young men were more likely to receive harsher sentences, if any, role in a killing. His mum said after, "I cannot imagine what Yusuf's parents and family must be going through as they are trying to come to terms with it." It was said that Joshua fully accepts responsibility for Yusuf's death in an act of self-defense, and the impact of this acceptance is massive. He will have to live with the responsibility of his role in this for the rest of his life. We are also acutely aware of the hurt and loss that Yusuf's family is experiencing are infinitely greater than anything we are going through, and nothing I can say can make up or change that. His mum was trying to paint a good picture of him like any parent would do, but again and again throughout Josh MOLNAR's trial, he described knives as cool. But it seemed the reason he got off lightly with this was his ability to fog it off on other people. MOLNAR's trial heard that he blamed the third boy, who cannot be named for legal reasons, for arranging the ill-fated drug deal, and claimed Yusuf had taunted him, calling him a pussy. "I can't remember if Yusuf laughed a bit or said something, but I got more annoyed," MOLNAR told the court. He admitted he pushed Yusuf after the jibe and said Yusuf answered with a punch. As MOLNAR put in his trial, "I was just kind of a bit confused. I wasn't really expecting it. Then I've looked up at Yusuf, is quite annoyed at me at this point. I believe I saw him take out his knife and he looked at me and was going to hit me again, saying, 'Come on, come on.' Yusuf," he said, "would not back down from a confrontation and he just didn't want to get beaten up again. Feeling quite on edge, I've started to take a knife out of my pocket," he said. "I just wanted to warn him and trying to get him to leave me alone." Asked how the knife ended up inside Yusuf, he said, "Not really. I don't know what I did. I don't know how it all came together." In the aftermath, MOLNAR described how he made an attempt to help Yusuf, taking off his top and using it to try and stem the bleeding. Josh saying that he tried to help stem the bleeding and save him would make it seem like it was an accident, but he also threw the blade into the bush and lied that the knifeman must have been in a car, a VW Polo, that he claimed had driven away from the scene of the stabbing. Last year, Joshua MOLNAR, 18 from Hale, was found not guilty of an M charge at manslaughter following a trial at Manchester Crown Court. He admitted possessing a knife which inflicted the fatal injury and lying to police at the scene, and was sentenced to a 16-month detention order and training order. Comment below you guys' thoughts if this guy got off lightly and what you think. Let's get something going in the comments. I'll see you guys in my next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notification bell. Also can follow my Instagram. Peace out.